is a class where tradition runs supreme. If you're going to be an entrant, you're probably going to run a beautiful British roadster. Ron Bartell is a true traditionalist. He has 2 national championships in his, but this year, tough season. No wins, a few seconds. That smile will come back, and he can hang a 3rd gold around his neck. Now, you can be a traditionalist and still be a young Charger. Brian Lynn certainly is. Great season this year, a number of wins. Twice a runner-up at the runoffs. He wants the top step of that podium. And John Salisbury Jr., he's won the Central Division Championship this year, but gold here is what he wants. But Johnny O'Connell, for them to do that, they're going to have to go up against one of the more unique cars in this class.
That's right, Greg. Adam Malley and his Honda Civic here are creating a little bit of a stir because they are fast all week. But you got to remember, Adam Malley himself is a 3-time champion, having won in 97, 98, and 99. He's taken off since then. This is his first time back. It's going to be interesting to see if he still has what it takes. Now, a guy that definitely has what it takes is Bob Weber. Bob also has won a championship in this division. Last year, he won it on the racetrack, but a minor infraction in tech got that win taken away. It was then given to Dan Collishaw. Now, Dan's awfully quick. He wins lots of races, but you know one thing about the runoffs, you want to leave the racetrack knowing you're the winner. Hopefully it's going to happen for him this year.
SCCA is celebrating its 40th anniversary of their national championship, the Valvoline Runoffs. And over those 40 years, no group is more closely associated with this than is the production classes. And it's time for H Production. Hi everybody, and welcome to a glorious and sunny Mid-Ohio sports car course in Lexington, Ohio for the H Production National Championship Chase. I'm Greg Kramer. We'll be joined by Johnny O'Connell, Brian Till, and John Bizignano. Johnny O'Connell, tell us about Mid-Ohio.
Well, Mid-Ohio, Greg, is a special racetrack. It's very difficult, a beautiful day to run a race here. For these cars, which are the smallest displacement cars, momentum is everything, and that means getting through turn 1 fast, because turn 2 is one of the best passing areas here. Then you go downhill, going into turn 4, another great passing area. Now for me, 4 through 13 is generally single file stuff, but here at the runoffs, guys get creative, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, creative is a very good way to put it. Let's take you through the starting lineup. A very good one, 26 cars. And the cream at the top here, Robert Weber, you can see Ron Bartell. He's had the pole here the last 3 years, just missed it by a spot. And you take a look a little bit farther back in the pack, there are some very quick drivers there as well as we run through the final few cars in the grid. And we are looking forward to a 20-lap shootout that is going to be fascinating. But the cars are on the false grid, and down there, the first of our pit reporters is Brian Till.
It's open. H Production is a very competitive class, guys. By my count, no fewer than 5 past national championships, but this man, Randy Canfield, has 5 national championships in this class and an amazing 30 Northeast Divisional championships to his credit. He jokes and says he just wants to win his age class. He's 73 years old, but with his experience, I think he can put this thing on the podium. Now let's get to my partner in the pit lane, the fastest guy in the pits, John Bizignano.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction. At number 87, Jerry Olson, he has a chance to join a very elite group with the Sports Car Club of America. He won the June Sprints at Road America. He won his division. That's 2 big wins for the season. If he wins here in Road Atlanta, that makes him a 3-time winner. That makes him a Triple Crown member. Hey guys, I gotta ask you, coming from 12th place, he has a lot to do, but will his good luck piece stay on during the race? That's the number 1 thing.
Well, obviously there's going to be a little arrow flowing through that bad boy, but I'm sure he'll be there. We know Jerry Olson will be at the checkered flag. It's going to be a great race, and we're going to bring it all to you right here from Mid-Ohio. Don't go anywhere. Today's Speed Channel coverage of the 40th anniversary SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Valvoline. Valvoline, the #1 choice of top mechanics. We are back at Mid-Ohio. The 8th production cars are out on the track. I said earlier, Johnny, that production is long associated with this championship. Tell us a little bit about production class.
Well, talk about beautiful cars. The neat thing about the production categories are series-produced cars, which are allowed a range of performance modifications, but they have to retain the original design, structure, and drive layout. H production, it is the slowest category, and that's kind of important for us to know when we look at the drivers, because one of the keys to driving these cars well is maintaining momentum. And when, anytime you don't have 500-600 horsepower to save you for your mistakes, you've got to be so perfect, so precise with your driving. These guys at the top of the grid, that's what we're going to be seeing today.
And this is a momentum track, so these cars actually put on a phenomenal show here. We got a great in-car for you. It is the driver who will be starting on the outside of the front row, number 4, Ron Bartell. Of course, I mentioned he's had some championships. He's had 3 poles here. He's going to put on a great race. Now let's check out down the pit lane for an update with Brian Till.
Well, don't forget, guys, that this is the first race of the day, and it is cool here today. Temperatures mid-50s right now, and the track surface temperature, which is very important, is still cool. It has not had sun on it for a while, so it's going to take a while for the race slicks on these cars to get to temperature. John Bisignano?
Well, I'll tell you one car you might want to watch closely in these opening laps is car number 20, Ron Barrett. He rolled the car early in the week. Actually, he rolled it 3 times. The crew got the car back together enough just to have 20 minutes of session out on the track. So if the green flag has fallen, let's see if he can go straight down the straightaway.
There is the double green, and Barrett driving one of the front drive VWs, which have sort of come up in popularity a little bit. Adam Malley, what a move! Down to the inside, that's that front drive Honda, that red and white car, the saloon, if you will, and a nice move there. Still trying to get up into 3rd, working the outside. If he can hang it out here, he might get the inside at the bottom of the S's. Meanwhile, some of the battling going on. There's Barrett in that VW. And it looks like, no, Malley did not pick up that 3rd spot. Weber's out front.
You know, but a great start by Malley. At the start, all you really are trying to do, I always approach him as in, don't lose positions. If you gain positions, that's gravy, but you just don't want to throw away such an important race as we see Collishaw trying to take a peek there. Now, these guys, it's all about pressure, getting them the guys' mirrors, trying to make them have them make a mistake. Right there, Collishaw going out there, that's not going to happen. You're not going to see many passes in that area of the racetrack today.
Yeah, Carousel a little bit tough to pull that kind of a move off without contact, which we've certainly seen here. But Weber now actually opens it up just a little bit as we hop on board with Bartell. Turn 1, Johnny, very, very fast corner. Oh, Malley makes the move down and underneath, and Adam Malley has picked up that 3rd spot. Let's check in with Brian Tell.
Well, Johnny O'Connell, you were talking about being in somebody's mirror and putting pressure on them. The thing you got to remember, though, the top 4 guys right now, they all have national championships in this class. Pressure is going to be something that's hard to put on these guys and get them to succumb to it.
You know, it's so cool, Brian, because all these guys that won championships, they got a whole bunch of that gunfighter in them. And when we're talking to Weber, you know, in the pre-race show there when we had Collishaw there with him, you could see that he was still disappointed about last year having his win taken away from him in Tech. And you know he's come back this year and he's going to be pushing hard. But look at Malley. You know, these cats were worried about that Honda, and he's showing a lot of speed right now.
He's showing why. Yeah, he went by Bartell, and now Collishaw got Bartell down into the S's. Malley's second behind Weber, then Collishaw, then Bartell. So Adam Malley got a tremendous run.
He got there.
He got a great run out of the keyhole, and Collishaw sort of followed him on through. Now we'll see what Malley has for Weber. Boy, Collishaw looks very, very stout in the early going here. Any particular advantage, rear drive, front drive, on a day like today?
Boy, you know what, I'm a guy that loves rear-wheel drive. You know what, it just allows you to accelerate off a corner a little bit more. The one thing for speed that, oh my goodness, that you don't want to have happen is to be understeering off of a corner, and that is more prevalent in a front-wheel drive car.
That close call we just were wowing about there was Tom Feller coming up right behind Bartell. So we're hopping on board with Bartell again. On a cool morning like this, though, I would think having a front drive might help. But number 81, Collishaw, who was so quick, suddenly ducks in to pit in down by the carousel out of nowhere.
You know, he must be seeing something on his gauges or something because, you know, from the outside, that car looks fine. But this is exactly what Malley wants. You know, he wants it just to come down to him and Weber. The two of them battling it out. Hopefully no problems. And Brian, you got something for us on Collishaw?
Dan Collinshaw rolled in here. His hands, you just threw him up in the air. He's talking to his crew guys. They took a peek underneath the hood. The collar's coming off. He's getting out. His day is done. And certainly anytime you bring it into the pits here at the runoffs, it's pretty much done. But this thing is not running. He's out.
That is very unfortunate. He looked very quick. And we're looking at a new leader. No, Weber knew he could get in deep on that outside line and stayed with it. And Adam Malley, savvy enough with 3 national championships to realize, well, it wasn't going to be a real clean perhaps this time. We'll lay in the weeds and see what we can do. The guy who's on the move as well is 61, Feller, in that bright yellow Triumph Spitfire. He too having a good run. There he is. He is now in 3rd.
No one else cares. So call right now and
Get more heat in those tires. May have made Malley racy right off the get-go.
But one of the interesting thing about the runoffs is when you have you all, we got number 99.
That is Jay Lutz.
Oh, and he's in the gravel there. That's going to be tough to get him out. It might be game over for him. He's praying for a tow.
He was running in 10th at the time. Sorry, guys.
Getting back to my thought, you have different cars, different categories, and it looks right now that Weber is very strong under braking, good in the corners, but Malley on the top end, that last run, he looked really strong, so he's going to try to take advantage of that every time he comes through turn 2.
Malley's engine is very, very stout, and he puts it to an awful good use. Weber, number 55, leads him, but number 61, the Triumph Spitfire of Feller, is coming after him here in H production. Here's a look at your top 5 very early in their national championship chase.
A lot of people think of H production as a class dominated by rear-wheel drive cars, but it may surprise them to note that 3 of the last 7 national championships have been won by one man in one car, and that's Adam Malley in a front-wheel drive Honda Civic. Now, Adam, a lot of people think front-wheel drive should be a disadvantage, but you keep this thing in front. How?
I think the main thing is just preparation, just making sure that you can go out there and make, all the laps consistency. I don't do anything really special to make a one-lap qualifier like a lot of people do because I'm really in it for the long haul. I want to be there at the end of the race, and I want to be first.
Well, the trophy comes with finishing first at the checkered flags, not in qualifying. They keep trying to figure out ways to slow Adam down, and for a guy living outside Atlanta, Georgia, 270 pounds he has to carry. That's like carrying an Atlanta Falcon lineman with you throughout this race.
Well, Adam Malley showing that maybe a little World Challenge action there as they put a little weight on him, but guess what? He has taken the lead and gone by Weber. So Adam Malley, even with that extra weight, that car is still working very, very well. Look at Feller now taking a serious run at Weber for second. Here's the pass for the lead, Johnny.
Well, you know what, we just spoke about the top end differences between the cars. Right there, Weber did a great job of protecting his inside line. Malley, though, has got the power to make the move on the outside. And here in Mid-Ohio, you can go side by side, as you see him coming into 4 right now. But, clean class by Malley, and that's how you like to see it done, especially this early in the race. You don't get to be a champion like Weber by not knowing that you have to be there at the end. And right now, he might be sitting, holding on. Feller, though, is looking really strong.
Well, in the number 61 of Feller now, he completed the pass. We saw him setting up, so he's second. Biz?
Well, actually, Robert Weber right now, talking to his crew, they say that their plan was to get out and stay out front. So they might be having a little bit of problem that they're not admitting to me with the car. They thought they had the power down these long Mid-Ohio straightaways to just get away from that Honda and keep a nice stretch in front of everyone. It's not working out for them, guys. They're right on his tail.
No, they've gone by him, and Tom Feller has taken a big run. And Bartell, our onboard camera, is off track. A lot of steam emanating from underneath the hood. And obviously his day is done. Something let go.
And that kind of stuff happens, not just here, but that happens in racing.
Let's watch here. We may have a look at when, he slowed down. And you can see there's smoke. You can hear it.
Yeah, and you see the steam coming out there from underneath the hood. So, boy, you talk about just the worst feeling in the world, because all year these guys think about one thing. That's coming here to Mid-Ohio, doing the runoffs, and giving your best against the best from the country. And there's a guy right there, Bartell, who was in a position to win this thing. So, bad luck. But, there's always next year.
Absolutely. And one thing, give him major kudos on behalf of the corner workers around here, because he did what every corner worker likes when there's high-speed cars on the track. That's turn in behind the barriers so you don't have to run trackside and put yourself in harm's way. So I'm sure the corner workers appreciate that. Adam Malley, 3-time national champions, you see, leading, but Feller is coming on, and another driver who we saw out of the race a bit earlier, Dan Collishaw, is with Bartell.
Well, we saw Dan Collishaw roll in. He's now out of the car. Not only is he a past national champion, but Dan, you're probably the most honest race car driver I've been around. I asked you what happened, and what did you say?
I said I screwed up, which is exactly what happened. I took it from second to first instead of second to third and zinged the motor, and it went flat. So it's too bad the car was good. It was wild out there. You know, the big horsepower cars behind us got, it was like 5 wide, I think, going into the end of the straight. And we kind of got it sorted out. I was ready to settle in, and then I screwed up. So day's over.
Day's over. When you do that downshift and zing the motor about twice as high as it's supposed to go, that's not good. That's why they gave you sequential box, Johnny, so you can't do that.
You know what? And following up on that, one of the difficult things about Mid-Ohio is there are several areas where you're having to brake, turn your car, go down a gear, and I have a good feeling I know where that happened, and it's in an area where you've got some side load, and so it's very easy to down change trying to get third, going into first, happens all the time.
And as a result, it blows up. It just blowed up. We are under a full course yellow. The reason is number 20, Don Barrick, has gone off over in the turn 9 area in the pea gravel over there. So everybody's going to slow up behind the pace car. We're going to step away for a moment as we show you the top 5. We'll be right back. Over the 40 years of SCCA's national championship chase, there's been a lot of evolution in some of the classes. But in the production classes, it has been consistent. Champions run in this class that have run in it for 30 years and are still as competitive as ever. This is the H Production National Championship. We're currently under caution, and the reason for that caution actually evolved over, I believe, in the turn number 9 area. Johnny, a very difficult section of this track just to start with, but here's what happened.
This is 9, and it's a very difficult part of the racetrack, and right there you can see, I can't tell who it was, trying to pick up the proper line.
The number 20 is, that's the full-sized sedan of Barrick. And watch this, it looked like it'd be okay. Oh, man, just got the nose in, front the wheels digging, and that was it. Now, Adam Malley continues to lead, and Biz, I think you found his crew chief.
Well, Kevin Allen is his crew chief. Kevin, you've been talking to him a lot during this yellow. What's up?
Everything is going real good. He says he feels like they're probably a little quicker through the corners than he is right now, but especially at the end of the straightaway, he feels like he's got an advantage. We really spent the last couple of years redoing the chassis, working on the motor and working on aerodynamics, which may sound a bit odd for a big brick like the Honda, but we've narrowed everything as much as possible. He spent probably 3 weeks getting the front fenders done.
Can you imagine getting aerodynamic advantage on that car, guys?
Well, you have to look after it, that's for sure, and they've got some great aero work on that front spoiler and splitter, and we are back to green with 8 laps complete, and Malley's going to put that motor to good use. He should be great on the restart.
Well, and just an awful restart there by Feller, and Feller shooting back up the inside of Weber, and I don't know whether Weber doesn't have some sort of engine problem there, because he got a good jump, but then fell back. Feller, I think he might have the horsepower to stick with Malley. You know, we've yet to see if that's going to happen or not.
Rest of the pack coming through. Good look there at the number 39 of Mark Pellman. Champion, or has a win in the Southeastern Division this year. Another of the great front runners in this division. The guy who's now gone to 4th is a gentleman we met at the open of the show. Twice a runner-up here, Brian Lynn, the youngster, but really would like to maybe finally get that top step of the podium, as with everybody here. And Lynn may be somebody on the move. We'll keep an eye out there.
You know, Lynn has had a great season, and when you get into a big event like this, when you first show up, you're sometimes intimidated. You see all these big names that you've been reading about forever, and they're champions, and you have the, oh my goodness, that's so close. and you can get intimidated, but you know what? As you get more and more comfortable, and where he's sitting right now in 4th position, he's able to watch these guys in front of him who he knows about, who he's read about, who do have the championship. He can learn from them, but then all of a sudden that light switch is going to go off and say, wait, there's nothing special about these guys. I can race these guys. I can beat these guys.
And we got a great battle right here. Again, the number 39 of Mark Pellman running in 11th. Roll! And they got it. They touched. And Pellman, does he get through? Everything looked to be all right. Yep, there's Pellman, but he was being hounded by the 91 of Sean Thompson in 12th. That's all going to change up right now. The guy in front of them is there's the 16 of Anthony Drummond, the 79 of David Bowles. And Pellman is going to survive the attack by Thompson one more time. it would appear, heading down into the S's. So look at him fan up behind, and the 41 of Canfield, that black car with the oval number, the back of the bed. Boy, he was thinking about it.
Well, you know what? Well, we got one of those guys throwing off a little bit of smoke there. But one of the cool things about Mid-Ohio is that corner at the end of the straightaway, you can go side by side. Now, we haven't seen much of that, but how wide the track is at the exit, as we see Thompson working the field, he's actually looking pretty good right now.
Boy, Thompson ran through the S's incredibly quick. Not only did he get by Pellman, but he just went by David Bowles as well. And now he's trying to go after Anthony Drum. Or excuse me, that's not Drum. That's Kraus. What a great shot there. It's the speed shot from up top through Thunder Valley. You can see they come off of that jump. There's Drum. Well, he's gone down. Here we go. Watch for this right now. There's the 46 of Kraus. And right behind him is Sean Thompson, who has put in a tremendous restart lap. But here's what happened. 39's Pellman, 91 up on the outside is Thompson.
And Pellman just moves to take the proper line, not knowing that Thompson is there. And man, those guys are sticking together for a while. They're lucky that no one turned back. Ah, he shakes his fist, cool. You like to see a little bit of emotion out there. I get yelled at him for it all the time.
Well, he let him know that he wasn't happy with it. Obviously, Pellman just drifting over, didn't realize he was up alongside. And every once in a while, you got to start using those mirrors, I guess. And that green machine right in the mix there, well, is John Salisbury, who we met up at the top of the show. And down in the pits and parked. Problems right there. But Adam Malley continues to lead. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio for SCCA, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championships. This in H production. And after the restart, Brian Till, Adam Malley has started to gap the field by a bit.
Indeed, Greg, he's starting to pull away a little bit. You know, Johnny, you talked about at the beginning of the show, rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive in this car, and a lot of times you would think front-wheel drive would be a disadvantage. But I'm not sure it is in this class because the cars don't have a lot of horsepower, and that Honda has a very short wheelbase. And around this racetrack, it's like a roller skate. Without a lot of horsepower to those front tires, he doesn't really have to worry about a lot of power on understeer where the car won't turn. It'll actually help pull him up and over the crest of some of these hills and around the corners. And in reality, in a short wheelbase car, not a lot of horsepower, that front-wheel drive may actually be an advantage.
That's a good point, Brian, and right now Malley's got that car hooked up. And here's a guy that's got a ton of experience. He's bringing it all to play right now. And remember, he did win 3 championships before, so he's no stranger to leading being out front.
And we're looking at the number 40 of Don Cameron, who has a couple of podiums in the Central Division this year. He's trying to run down that group in front of 79 Bull, 46 Kraus. This is a very, very solid battle here. And 41, Randy Canfield. There's a good look at Randy. What an amazing story he is. Just the length of time he's been running, the number of championships he's amassed. And here comes Salisbury. Beautiful move by John Salisbury. And he ducks to the inside of Thompson.
But that's what I was just talking about. You can go side by side through there. Now Thompson's doing a super job.
Boy, Salisbury just rode the rim shot, didn't he?
You know what? And Salisbury did it perfect right there because you can stay side by side for a couple corners, and then you're looking really good for that last part of that.
Number 39, Mark Pellman, who we've been following for some time, who's in the midst of that battle. Finally, something gone wrong, has pulled up. One thing about the prod cars, because of their age, they can be a little bit finicky in terms of reliability, and that's an unfortunate development. But up front, boy, this racing right here is getting very, very intense. That is 7th place Salisbury, then Thompson, then the 46.
Number 20, Don Barrick, he really stuck that in there nicely, but fighting back. David Bowles, I tell you what, both of these guys equal cars, and they're having a killer battle.
The problem for Barrick is he's a lap down because they got a lap on him while he was stuck in the gravel over there. But he's showing you that he definitely has a bit of speed here and was going to be a player. And we saw that early. He was right there. But that opened the door up for Canfield as he's taking a run at Bowles down into the keyhole. Watch for, nope. Bowles just tucked in behind Barrick, and that meant Canfield had to give way. Now we'll see what happens down in the run to the S's. One of the deals is these front drive sedans, like the Golf and the like, they run a little bit bigger engine, so they carry a little bit more weight, but that still gives you a pretty good advantage down that long straight, and these roadsters, they got to find another place to make it up.
Well, and in Mid-Ohio, you know, again, it's so funny because whenever I look at this racetrack, I'm thinking, okay, I got to be good going into 1, I got to be good going into 2 for the keyhole, and I got to be good down the back straight, because those are my areas where I can pass. The rest of the stuff that they're in right now, you know, all the way to turn 13, not a whole lot of passing, but these guys somehow or another make it happen.
It is amazing how they do it. There's the 46 of Krause, and that's what this track is often all about. That tire gauge, pressures, setup, and of course some brilliant driving. Adam Malley's doing that right now. We are back at Mid-Ohio in the National Championship battle in H production for the SCCA's Valvoline Runoff. Heating up once again as Tom Feller, who had dropped off by Adam Malley by the tune of about a second and a half, is now within half a second. But there you see the strength that Malley has in that car down that back straight.
Well, and Malley's going to know that. He's always watching his mirror, but he's also going to know where he's weak and where Feller's tuning him up. And it's my guess it's under the brakes right here. You see him close up a little bit, but also through the twisty stuff. And if you're Feller, what you're doing is you're waiting towards it till it gets towards the end, because Malley's using up his tires. He's getting more fatigued. It's at the end that you really want to stick him with that hard move so that he's not going to be able to make a counterattack at you later.
The question is how hard is Feller using up the car? Right now, Feller just turned the fastest lap of the race on that last lap at a 1:41.0 to Adam Malley's best lap at 1:41.18. So he obviously is able to run the times that Malley is running. The question is, who's abusing their car more to do it?
Yeah, well, Feller's looking very smooth and carrying his momentum. He's trying to put a little bit of pressure on him. Now, there's not going to be a pass that takes place right here. Don't do it and go make me look stupid. That's the way it always is. But, you know, Malley's going to rely on that horsepower. So what Malley has to focus on is just getting to his apex, not making a mistake, and not being afraid to slow down Feller, meaning in those tighter sections where it's difficult to pass, intentionally go slow, hold it up, make it difficult for him to make that move. Wait till you get on the straightaways and take advantage of your strength.
A little bit deeper back, that's 55 Weber and the number 36. Having a good run of Brian Lynn, and Lynn now trying to get by Weber. Weber had him for a minute, Lynn had him, and now Weber's back in front. And while Lynn is chasing, Bisley, number 55 of Weber, finds himself a little bit deeper in the pack than he would have thought.
Well, a little bit earlier, Johnny, you mentioned, is there a motor problem with Weber? And we got the word, no, the motor's fine. In fact, they can't see anything wrong with the time, but his lap times are very far down. But I'll tell you, it could be a little bit iffy with our second place man, because Weber says that Feller passed him under the yellow. So, my gosh, there's no conversation down here about a penalty, but if that did happen, it could be up for review after the race.
Well, we'll keep an eye on how that story develops as we watch the battle here in the number 76.
Well, Weber just blew by Feller down the straightaway, so I wouldn't think that there's a horsepower problem there. Maybe he's just a little bit slow getting his rhythm or something, but right now he's on fire and looking really strong.
There's the 36 of Lynn, who has dropped back quite a bit from Weber, so perhaps it's Lynn who's got a little bit of an issue happening. Meanwhile, Brian Lynn, as we talked about, Brian Till, has he radioed in with the problem? He suddenly dropped off a bit.
Well, that's what we're trying to check down here with Jim Lynn and Tony Clifford, his crew chief. They're watching intently as they come down the front straightaway. Give him just a second to click the watch off. But as I look down at his timing sheet here, it looks like the lap times have slowed considerably over the last couple of laps. To see if we can get a word right here. He's going to click the watch. Tony Clifford clicking the watch. Tony, has he said anything? He seems to have dropped back a little bit.
No, he said nothing. Except that the exhaust gas temperatures are getting a little hot in the front 2 cylinders. But other than that, nothing.
Nothing, guys. He's got his head down. He's been second here twice. He wants to stand on the top rung, but it's not looking good right now, especially if the engine's starting to warm up.
Yeah, he slipped back to 5th, and the guy who's really on the move is that blue number 76, is Greg Feller. We'll keep an eye on him. There is Adam. Oh! Did he just blew up? Or did he just lock a brake?
There looks like there's some smoke in that cockpit. I mean, we'll have to take another look at that. But yeah, I mean, that's a big moment. And that, I mean, even if it's just a tire, it's showing how hard he's pushing and how much pressure he has on him.
Well, I was going to ask, because while we were watching him when they were close early, it didn't look like he was using as much of the road as was Feller. But there's evidence he is indeed pushing hard. See if that's just brake lockup.
Boy, I tell you what, you know, he might have just gotten the gear too soon. I mean, that really doesn't normally look like brake lockup because it was spread out all over the rear of the car. So that's a tough one to call, but it's definitely something that we've got to keep an eye on.
Biz, you got any ideas for us?
Crew chief said they lost a CV joint boot, guys. That puff of smoke was coming out of the CV joint, they feel.
That would make sense, and boy, I tell you, that now it comes down to how long do you last. He only has to survive 5 more laps, but you know that's going to make Feller just turn it up even more. Here's your top 10. So we're getting near the end of H Production National Championship. Welcome back. We've had a busy race so far. Number 81, Dan Collishaw, very racy early. Zinged the motor on a downshift, hit the wrong gear, self-admitted. Another problem for Ron Bartell, another champion who had another shot. He has a motor go away, and he pulls off. But the battle up at the front was intense. 55 Weber was there, but Adam Malley, the 3-time champion, back after that, moves to the outside and lays on a beautiful late break pass around the outside, swept into the S's. And as always, in the production class with fenders, little Bumpin' and Robin Pellman involved in it, along with the 91 of Sean Thompson. And possibly from that contact, Pellman pulled off a couple laps later and is done. And those two guys were both looking pretty good early on, so it can hurt you. There's the look. Malley continues, though, Johnny, to hold that margin. Feller hasn't been able to do too much to it. We only have like 4 laps now.
You know what? Feller's using all the racetrack. You see a guy pushing real hard, and the reason he's doing that is when you're following a guy and you see him, see some smoke come out of the car, you know that this guy might have a problem. And again, you've got several laps to get it done, and right now Feller's going to continue to push, as is Malley. It's going to really come down to the finish here, and it should be exciting.
Once again, evidence that Malley does not need to use up the whole track to turn the laps he has. Look at Feller right there. Well, this time he didn't, but I've watched. He's been up and over that curb a couple of times. So he's definitely working very hard to stay there. And Malley is just trying to survive. Brian?
Chuck Feller is the crew chief for the guy in the 61 car who just happens to be Tom Feller, your son. And I know you're watching intently. Does he have anything left? He's got to make the move.
Well, what he's hoping to do is keep pressure on and get Adam's tires hot. That's a heavier car than ours, and ours usually performs pretty consistently through the whole race, so he's hoping to get a shot at him here in the last 2 or 3 laps.
Has he said anything about smoke out of Adam's car? The guys in the booth said they saw a little smoke, maybe off of his CB?
No, he hasn't mentioned that at all. I've heard it over the system here, the PA system, but he hasn't said anything to me about it.
Put your head down and drive.
Yeah, that's about it.
And that right foot.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. And you see Feller right now, I mean, he's starting to get a little bit loose coming off the corners. I mean, he is working as hard as he can, but really, Malley so far has been, flaw-free. He's not made any mistakes. He's nice and clean. And what you watch is he's hitting his apexes. He's using all the road coming out. He's nice and clean, no mistakes. And, right now he's driving like a guy who has won 3 championships.
Absolutely. And by the way, the number 76 of Greg Feller, who had worked his way up to as high as 4th, is plummeting down the order. Problem for Feller. And that now leaves Weber in 3rd, Brian Lynn back and forth, and the number 16 of Anthony Drum in 5th. Getting a little bit deeper in the pack. Good battle going on here. That is the number 79 of David Bowles with Randy Canfield right behind him. And they are in a bit of a sandwich. A couple other drivers are coming up behind. You see the number 5.
Oh, my goodness, he got loose there.
Oh, and that, what a great run. I believe that's McGinley coming up behind him there. No, check that. That's the 40 of Don Cameron coming up behind Canfield. Then it's Bowles. These guys are at absolute war right now for the 8th spot.
And you saw Canfield get so loose there. And the one thing, it's always hard to do justice with TV is elevation change. In that area of the racetrack, turn 9, you come over the hill there, your car gets so light, and even though you don't have the gobs of horsepower like you do in other classes, it's still enough that if you're hard on the gas, you can light up those rear tires, get it sideways. Looks really great, fun for us all to watch, but not the quick way around.
Well, and the interesting thing is, even if you have a car with not a lot of horsepower, if you're on the edge and suddenly the car goes light, you're going to step out a little bit. What a move. Cameron just absolutely dive-bombed inside 41 Canfield. And Canfield trying to counter, coming back. And Canfield gives him a little rub.
Look
look at him.
Did you see Cameron? He reached over and readjusted his mirror because he bent the mirror up when they hit.
But that was a killer move by Cameron. Now, Canfield obviously was a little bit, I think, taken aback that somebody actually tried him in there and that there was contact, but this is what it's about, man. This is a runoff, no holds barred.
Watch this now, and look at the mirror when he makes the move. Bang! He clips the mirror, and as they come out, Johnny, it's great because he's adjusting the mirror.
Comes out on the straightaway.
Watch Cameron's hand on the driver's side of that white car. There's the bump. And there's the adjustment on the mirror. Oh! And Feller has snuck by Malley. Feller got him, and that's in the keyhole area. I wonder, oh, here we go.
Now it's horsepower. Move him over, Feller.
Look at that.
There's a big horsepower difference, but now Feller knows he can get it done. This is going to be as close as he's going to be to Malley on the straightaway. He's going to have to attack this last section of the course. Again, he's going to the inside.
And this is the last lap. This is the last lap, so... Oh, he saved it. That may have been the race, though. No, he's not. Here he comes.
Push, push, push.
Well, he knows he can do this. He just has to get it done before the carousel.
And Malley is driving in front of him and behind himself right now. He's got to tighten up his lines. Don't give him any move.
Watch it here. This is where the handling's going to be huge.
He's got to get it.
There's a yellow and a debris. They can't. Oh, no. No passing in here.
He still has one more
now he can't. He's past the car. Oh, boy. Malley hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Here comes Feller. Swinging out. That's the two chief mechanics, the two crew chiefs. Here we go, out of the turn-in. It's going to be Malley. Adam Malley wins his 4th national championship. But
beautiful drive. I mean, you guarantee
both.
He had a big scare there, letting Feller get by him.
There's Kevin Allen, of course, who is a very talented driver in the prod ranks of his own. Meanwhile, here's that battle we've been watching. It is the battle for 7th. Johannes Kraus in that blue VW. Right behind him is the 79 of Bowles in a similar car, and then the 41 of Canfield in the Sprite.
Canfield got a good run out of there. He might be able to take a run at Bowles here.
6th, 7th, and 8th. Well, what Canfield's hoping is that Bowles tries something, and these two guys end up parting the seas, so to speak.
Exactly, and Bowles ran it in there a little bit quick. Watch Canfield on the outside. That's his move. Now cut it back in.
Can't do it.
Not enough room there.
But great racing action throughout the pack. In this, again, that was the battle for the 7th, 8th, and 9th positions here. And they had a great time. Here is Adam Malley. And oh, is he happy? Oh!
What the?
He just threw a belt. Boy, talk about the car coming apart at the right time, Biz. He just threw a belt off that car while he's celebrating.
Mark, congratulations on a great win. All that work over the winter was certainly worth it.
Oh, it really was. It's amazing how much work went into the car. It looks like the same old car. It's almost a new chassis. It's a brand new engine package, and we struggled and had an axle boot go late in the race, which was all the smoke, and we've had problems breaking those during the year, so it was a tense last few laps, hoping that was going to hang in there.
What's it like to know that you have a driver that can get the job done, though?
I mean, you know, the driver's everything. Adam's out there driving the wheels off that car. 3 or 4 other people have tried to run the Honda, have never been successful with it. He pushes the car along.
Congratulations. Brian Till.
Well, Chuck Feller, it doesn't get any more exciting than that. He saved it to the end and actually led a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah. I think if we hadn't had the yellow, he might have had a better chance. The strategy was working to try and keep the pressure on Adam. We knew his tires would get hot near the end, so it was a good, clean race. Everybody's happy about that. So he did a good job.
Well, it's second place, but it's second place at the runoffs, and that's got to mean something.
It sure does. It sure does. This is Tom's 2nd year running nationals, and he's been good right from the start. So we're real happy.
I think you guys are going to see this guy again here, Greg.
Oh, if it's only his 2nd year at the runoffs, we know we're going to see him back here again. That is a tremendous run. By the way, 1 change among 2 drivers, 1 caution for 3 laps. The margin of victory, ½ a second. It was just that close. And there's a very happy family member about to drape that gold medal around our champion's head. We'll be right back to talk to him. Coverage on Speed Channel of the 40th anniversary SCCA National Championship runoff has been brought to you by Valvoline. Valvoline, the #1 choice of top mechanics. At the end of the 20-lap championship battle, Adam Malley has got another one. Feller, Weber, Brian Lynn, John Salisbury, and Malley is with Biz.
Pam's going to put this beautiful medal on you for a moment there, Alan. You look so happy. Both of you are so happy. There's the big hug and kiss from wife.
Oh,
I got to ask you, mate, wasn't that not one of the best championships you've ever won?
That was great. Oh, man. Feller was so fast through the corners, and I spent so much time getting this car aerodynamically prepared where it would run top end so I could draft people, and it worked to my advantage because when he was in front of me, I was faster because I could draft him. So, but wow, what a race.
So your advantage was actually on the straightaways, not in the corners?
Well, it was more aerodynamics. I worked for 2 years making the car aerodynamically quicker, and just to be able to draft people, so if anybody was in front of me, I could get by them. I couldn't beat them out of the corners, but I can beat them down the straightaway. Wow.
Fourth time for your championship. I mean, my gosh, are you going to get another race car? You've been working too hard on this one.
Oh man. I don't know how to answer that. I really don't.
The answer is I love this car, and I'm not going to get another one.
Dude, yes. Yes. Yeah.
So you will be back with this one?
Probably. If I can't get my GT4 car done in time, this will be here.
Congratulations on a great, great championship.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brian.
Thank you very much.
Well, Tom Feller, what a drive. It looked like you had the strategy, and it looked like you had the lead there on the last lap. What happened?
I dove under him in the keyhole, and he got by me again on the straightaway, but my strategy was really just to kind of keep pressure on him, wear out his tires, and you know, I know he's a front driver, a little bit heavier, and I thought I could wear out his tires and brakes, and I could outbrake him at the end of the straightaway, but then he just had a little bit more power, and I couldn't keep up. But it was, and then we had a yellow flag back in turn 11 on the last lap, and so it cut down one of my passing chances.
Well, almost lucky to keep the car on the racetrack on that last lap. It sounds like sideways someplace, huh?
Yeah, real sideways coming up through 8. Just a little oversteer, going a little bit too fast. And I did it over here again in the carousel, but it was a lot of fun.
I love the understatement on these guys. A little oversteer, guys. It sounded to me like he was about 90 degrees to the line.
He was easily 90 degrees to the line. He was crossed up, Johnny.
You know, he was cowboying it through that corner. And I tell you what, though, the young kid, he's got nothing to be ashamed of because he drove a strong race. And so, you know, he can go back, go over the winter, and have good memories.
Yeah, it's tough to beat a car like Malley's that was handling awful good in the straights.
Well, you know, you heard what it took to win. Homework, homework, homework. The guy said he spent 2 years working on the aero. You knew this car was well prepared.
Absolutely, and we're talking H production, and that tells you a little something about just what the runoffs mean to people when in a class like H production, you put that kind of love and commitment and effort into it. Jerry Olison back there a little bit, obviously problems there, and a couple of the other drivers noticeably there, Ron Bartell and Dan Collishaw. Who knows what would have happened had they stayed in the hunt? It could have been interesting, or more than it was. Biz?
Bob Weber, great qualifying position, pole. Congratulations on that, but not the race you wanted.
No, it's not. Just didn't seem to have enough power down the back straight for either one of those two front guys. So I could handle them in the turns, and I think I could probably run a little quicker than they could in the turns, but on that back straight, they had me.
There you go, guys. Mid-Ohio, yes, a handling track, but nothing is a substitute for power down that long back straightaway.
You know what? And I'd agree, boy. Nothing like horsepower. It's your easiest friend because it makes your passes so much easier. Handling here in Mid-Ohio is always important, but man, give me a car that can get from one corner to the other. I'm a happy guy.
Well, and the thing is, handling helps you if you're out front, and you said you try and keep them behind you, but getting there can be awfully tough. And Adam Malley obviously understood that, took that time off, and converted this car around and turned it into a rocket.
You know, he did it. And this is one of the coolest things about the runoffs, man. You win, not only do you get the medal, but you get to do a lap of honor. He's got his wife with him, hooting and hollering all the way around the racetrack, man. That's always a cool thing to watch.
And he's out there celebrating with the workers, too. And by the way, keep in mind, he's made 4 appearances at the runoffs, won all 4. He did take 2 years off. Remember to check out speedtv.com, your online source for motorsports information. And make sure you check into that. For Johnny O'Connell, for Brian Tiller, for John Bizignano, I'm Greg Kramer. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations to an exuberant Adam Malley, championship number 4. Take care, everybody.